Working with you guys is not like working with any other contractor. Every contact was courteous, professional. Every single worker is friendly.
The problem we had was we had a shower that had failed, and so it was a tile shower, and so it was leaking into the wood. So we needed to get that fixed, and in doing so, then it's a 40-year-old bathroom. We wanted to update it.
So it turned into a complete full bathroom remodel.
Yeah.
Everything. And it just allowed us to, we knew that's what we wanted. We knew the shower was, it had failed. We'd stopped using it for a while. And we knew we wanted to completely redo the bathroom. We'd never done anything like that. We'd had the outside of the house worked on, over the past, decades, but nothing inside. And so it was scary, but it also gave us time to kind of plan what we wanted to do with the space. We had worked with contractors in the past, basically to have, siding redone. We had the deck redone and the windows. It's a 40-year-old home, and those things fail over time. But to be honest, we weren't happy with the 4 contractors we had used previously. And so we had asked around the neighborhood, but didn't really find anyone, our neighbors it's 40-year-old, subdivision out there, and everyone has had work done, and you talk to your neighbors, but no one really could recommend someone. A lot of them were wanting to go with smaller outfits and do a lot of the work themselves, and that just wasn't something we were interested in. And so I basically went on 2 websites, and yours was like the first I looked at, and I really liked your website. It looked very professional, and I liked how it was set up, and I simply called the number, and I really liked how I was treated on the phone with Jenna. Very professional. She immediately qualified and said, "Is this an emergency situation?" I said, "No." She says, "Okay." And she listened to what I wanted and told me that Jeff is about a month out. Is that a problem? I said, "Absolutely not," because I like working with busy companies, and I feel a busy company is a good company. And then when Jeff came out, I really liked his demeanor and how he carried himself. And I knew then I was going to go with him, and I told him that day, it's like, we're not going to seek another estimate. Just put your bid together, and we'll look at it. The estimate was very professionally done, and pretty much, unless there's something very odd, we're going to go with them. And we did, and it was great.
Every time we called, there was someone who answered the phone, and they treated us well. We just had a good feeling. Everything was laid out for us, and we understood what the job was going to entail. So it just felt comfortable to be signing the contract.
Working with you guys is not like working with any other contractor. We got a schedule. we were shocked. It's like, Diane, they are giving us a schedule. No other contractor has ever given us a schedule, and you stuck to it. You said the job would be done in 6 weeks, and it was done in 6 weeks. Unbelievable. And this was during COVID. I said, Diane said, Steve, they said they'd show up on the 24th. It was about 6 weeks out. You gave us a schedule. I thought it would be 6 months out when you finally were able to give us a schedule. And it's like, Diane, they're going to be here in 6 weeks. And so the 23rd, I said, Diane says, we need to call them to make sure they're coming out. I said, no. They didn't say Jeff was going to come out the next day. It had been a month for that first day, the estimate, or to estimate. It's like, no, this is how this company works. And sure enough, that morning of the 24th, like 4 trucks showed up and 8 guys, and they had the demo completed in 1 day. And unlike the other 4 contractors, every time they did a job, the trash, the demo, all the old material left. There was never any, trash left any day. It was amazing. They cleaned up every day too. Every day they cleaned up. It was a pleasure to work with them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The whole process worked well. The subcontractors showed up. Adam was always there to do the quality control and make sure that everything was there. And talking, whenever we had a question, we could call Araya or email Araya, and she would respond to us quickly. Within like an hour at the most.
I usually tell people every contact was courteous, professional. Every single worker is friendly, appropriate.
Things were just really well organized. Araya recommended certain places to get the tile and the countertop, and both of those places were really super helpful, and it just was an easy process. It gave us a place to look, and then also it was a reasonable price for the materials that we needed to put in our new bathroom. So it's a joy to get up in the morning and see that new bathroom.
No, it's something else.
Well, one of the features that we really appreciate is we put in another hot water heater.
Yes.
That is just dedicated to the shower. So our house was under water heatered before. And so it's really nice not to have to worry about the warm water as you're taking the shower.
When we had your family stay at our house, they were in Staten when we had that fire problem a couple years ago. So they stayed at our house. They were under evacuation. And I would always ask them, have you guys showered? And it wasn't until they left a week later, they said, why were you so worried about us showering? It's like, well, we only have the one water heater and the one shower. So after you guys go out and do your things during the day, we run up and take a shower. So it really was underwater heated. We couldn't do dishes and then take a shower, and so we were always working around that. And so Sean and Jeff really helped us with saying, you absolutely want to put that new hot water heater in there.
The other piece that we really like is the walk-in shower. There is just so much space. Our other shower was an enclosed dark tile shower. And this one is one where we took out our sunken tub. And so now it's all flat, and it's nice to have that extra space.
It was easier than I thought it would be, because that's a major, job inside your house, and 6 weeks, because you or your subcontractors were there every day, and it went surprisingly well. Couldn't be happier.